Wow. It's too much, isn't it? God. So, once again, everyone in this audience is so thrilled to have you here. Can we just show that one more time? So let me just tell you and some of you millions of followers a little bit about this beloved place that we call Seal Beach Center for Spiritual Living. You know, God transforms things. Yes. And God transformed this place from a salad dressing manufacturer. Some young person who thought he might be an okay minister named Roger Teal was riding his bike outside and saw this place. And it became our church. It became a church. And the thing that I love to brag about more than anything is our church. Not the building or the structure. It's the community, this beloved and blessed community that we have. And absolutely, for sure, everyone that walks in the door is loved from the moment they walk in the door, and they bring their own essence of their own divine love. And we intermingle, and it becomes even more and more. And you and I were talking about a very old scripture, the Bhagavad Gita, earlier, and a certain part of it really reminded me, because the big part of the Bhagavad Gita is there's three paths of life, which we all do, all of them. The first is the path of wisdom. The second is the path of action. But then the most important and powerful one, it's called Bhakti Yoga. It's the path of devotion. Not devotion to the divinity, but also devotion to everyone you come and you meet. And Rickie, that's the path that I see you've lived your life, your entire life through. So why don't you just share some of your principles and your stories and your humor, and I'll be up here maybe to chime in a time or two.
Yes. Thank you, Reverend Michael. I have to be careful with Reverend Michael. Reverend Michael. Oh, the bhakti. You know, I was, first of all, good morning, and it's so wonderful to be here at Seal Beach Center for Spiritual Living, to be here with my friends. And there are people who came who don't normally attend, but usually attend here. But I know they're catching the fire of this community. We can feel the love here. It's very beautiful, and thank you so very much for sharing your pulpit with me. I appreciate that. I was at Agape for 32 years and never really got the microphone. So those of you who want to know why did she leave, some of you don't know what agape is, and some of you might know, so let's get this part out the way quick. Okay. I was a music and arts director at Agape. I was allowed to be that at the invitation of Michael Bernard Beckwith. So I'm very thankful for the many years of bhakti, devotional, that I was able to bring and express through and in at Agape. Agape is still an amazing place. It's different because I'm not there, you know. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. Okay. But if you were at some place for 32 years and you weren't there anymore, it would be different because you weren't there. Depending on what you brought, the bigger the gift that you brought, the bigger the difference. The bigger the difference. So but there's gratitude in my heart for all that music that was revealed and all that music, because that music is deep. That music is really, really divine. The book is sacred. It's a sacred book of music, you know, and I'm just really thankful that that's not my phone. I'm just saying, that's not mine. Jackie, now you know that's your phone. Okay. But the spirit is calling you to turn that cell phone off. Okay. You know, and that feeling that we just have here of just like, you just call a thing and keep on moving. You know, it's not a big deal. You know, this is a great life, and we miss so much of it with, good Lord. Now it's the background of my life, Jackie's cell phone. You know, but we miss a great deal of life just because, you know, we live in these boxed ideas and concepts. And so from the gate, I was anointed outside of the box. Okay, from the beginning. I've been outside of the box. I weigh, outside of the box, I weighed 10 pounds when I was born. I was born on the 10th day of the 10th month. 10, 10, 10. Okay, I was 10, 10, 10. 10 pounds. By the time I was 9 months, I was 45 pounds. I was a huge baby. I almost made Guinness, but not quite. God didn't want me to have that kind of fame, okay? Even though in my soul, I would want to be famous for something. But my journey would be about more than famous. Like, hey, no, we didn't put you here to be famous. We put you here to heal. We put you here to reveal our message, our glory. We put you here to be in the joy. We didn't put you here to be famous. And I was going to learn that. That was a costly lesson. Because when you're born in the 50s in particular with television, you want to be famous. Especially when you see the Beatles, you see Nat King Cole, you see everybody, and they're doing music, and you love music. So you figure that that's the measure. So my journey would be about singing and expressing and watching music inform me on so many levels and at every turn. It's been a very good life, but it's been kind of suffering on some levels because I was attached to this vision of what it needed to look like. So, it's like, so once I got free of attachments, come on, you can't do nothing with me. Like you can't hustle me. You can't tell me some stuff that's not true, that's not, it's like I can see it, I can feel it. I can feel it. When you get clear, you go like, oh, and you have so much love that it can even contain that other stuff that people hit you with sometimes, This is not the same thing I talked about the first service. I cannot do that. I can't do 2 services. I'm too wild for that. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't sing the song the same way twice. I'm too wild. It's like, thank God I can't do that. So if anything I can be this morning, just let me be free. Let me be freely myself. And that you would be informed by that. To be freely yourself. But sometimes that thing we think is ourselves, it ain't us. Sometimes we're just as stuck and miserable. And that's not, so we want to be clear about what's happening inside of our mind. Because that's where it's happening. Where is it happening? In here. It's in here. It's happening in our mind. This whole dimension is taking place right in here. And then when it's over, we return to this. At least this is what I believe. I believe that we return to the journey that we were on before this body, before 10, 10, 10, before 45 pounds at 9 months, before agape, before all that music. Like there's a place God is more than even that. God includes all of that, but God is more than that. And that I believe that that's where we return, that we return to that place that is, I don't know, it's vast, but it must be joy, 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 joy. Joy, 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 joy. And so as a kid, I was informed about that joy. And it was Miss Anita Stroud doing what she loved to do. Miss Anita Stroud wasn't a great singer. She wasn't a great musician. She couldn't play violin like Alan. She didn't keep time like Rickie. She didn't do that. But she could sing along with little children. And she would encourage us to sing songs that she loved. And so she'd get all these little kids under the age of 5. And guess who was in that little choir? Little Rickie. Little chubby Rickie, right? I was a chubby little girl, too. I was chubby until I went to another initiation. And my chubby aunt was like, it ain't happening around here. So that's another sermon, another time. But at this time, Miss Anita Stroud would get us little children together. And what I remember of when I was 3 years old, is she would be going like, and I might have been there even before 3, but I just remember her going like, sing, baby! Sing, baby! And she said, oh, y'all sound so good. And we would go like, I got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart. And we would just, y'all remember that? Yeah. Remember, you were taught those songs, right? When you were a child? But listen to what we were learning. I got the joy, I got the peace that passes understanding. But we weren't saying that. We were saying, we got the peace that passes understanding down in my heart. But what it was giving us went beyond those words. It went from her love into us and encouraging us to sing and to really be present with the music, And we didn't have all of that kind of like analyzation of thought, and breaking down of what it meant intellectually. We had soul. You got soul, you don't need all that. You got soul, all you got to do is show up and be yourself. Yeah, sometimes we learn ourselves out of the funk. I mean, when I say the funk, I mean funk with an O. I mean that universal thing that is given to us. It's ours. It's who we are. It's who all of us are, not just good-looking black people. Not just Otis Redding. You know what I'm saying? Otis Redding. Sometimes I think capitalism is such a joke but it's also very wonderful. Depends on how you go into it. But, just the industries that emerge, and then we identify with the heroes and the sheroes of those industries, and they become almost like a god. And we forget that it's in us. It's in us. It's in us. It's plants here. It's who we are. Whether we can clap on beat or not, it's who we are. You know what I'm saying? Whether the cell phone comes on or not. Whether some gas happens, you didn't plan that. Older you get, you have more moments like that, especially if you're eating beans, which I was last night. I never went to Del Taco, man. Well, everything was closed after the concert. I was really hungry, and I meant all this energy, and Del Taco's right across from the Pacific Inn. I went to Del Taco. I said, give me the Beyond Meat taco. And they said, we don't have Beyond Meat tacos. No, that was Taco Bell. I went to Taco Bell. They said, we don't have Beyond Meat tacos. That's Del Taco. And I was like, well, what you got? And she says, well, we have these beans. And I'm thinking, it's too late for beans. So I left, right? But I circled right back around, and there nothing was nothing. I was like, I have 2 of those bean burritos. I had the black bean and I had the refried beans. I got 2 for under $4. For under $4 at Taco Bell. I was in heaven. And I went back to my little hotel room. I was like, this is good food. I blessed that food. I was like, oh man, this is so good. And I woke up this morning, I felt great. I mean, I threw away all the ideas because I'm a very healthy person. Right? I mean, I'll put it this way. I have what I consider a healthy regimen. But sometimes the things that we believe are not the truth. You know what I mean? It's just things that we believe. The truth of the matter is way more vast than anything that we know. So we dial into it at the level we can and get the best out of it. But sometimes, especially vegans, they get big head about stuff. They get so big-headed about stuff. Going like, dude, stop being so big-headed about it. Just be good. So I'm there eating these beans, and I totally dismiss the thought that when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to feel like I had a hangover, that I can't eat late at night. I just blessed everything. And when I woke up, I felt great. I feel great. And, I'm thankful for Taco Bell. I might not do it again. Let me tell you why. I feel like Kevin Hart. Let me tell you why. Okay. Because I feel I was working on the grace of God last night, I feel like I had done a great concert, and the universe was like, we applaud what you do. We're so thankful. The ancestors was like, eat that taco, baby. We got you. We got this. So whatever it is you're going to be doing in life, and if you're in alignment, the universe it's got you. If you're out of alignment, you're going to feel some bumps. And you don't want to anesthetize yourself of the bumps. You want to learn from it. If we incarnate in this dimension at this time, we came to grow. We came to learn. We wanted to come. I'm telling you, you were in bliss. Right? Imagine Rickie's story of what your life was before you came here. You're in bliss. You're in a blissful state. You weren't bored. You were in joy. But you heard some music that came through, and you saw my face. You can stop me anytime. And you're in bliss. Unformed, you're just in the Alka-Seltzer bubbly state. And, I've died, so I know that's one of the states we can go to. Okay, so your Alka-Seltzer, bubbly, fizz, and it's just joy, all this. And then you hear some music. There's a reason, there's a purpose, there's something that needs you. Like in the song, God needs us to shine his light. And can you imagine, when that song was first written, you know, you got these stodgy new thoughts folks that thought they understood the teaching, you know, and they were going like, God doesn't need anything. I'm going like, God needs you to shut up right now. That's what God needs. God needs you to shut up. You know what I'm saying? It's like, God doesn't need anything. I'm going like, the song was so beautiful. How can you entertain a conversation as trite as that when the music is so beautiful? When you sing Jeremiah was a bullfrog for no reason at all, you know? And then you're going to come and test God needs us. God doesn't need anything. I'm going like, God needs us to be God. God needs us to shine its light. God needs us to show up, to be present. God needs us to do the best we can. God needs us to just really love one another. Uh-oh. I feel another Reverend Michael coming close to me.
But around here, this is a tough crowd. They demand practical things that they can take home and do in their life. You've stepped out of your comfort zone, and you're the shining star. Tell them what they can do in their personal life to make that transition to get through their comfort zone, okay?
Don't you love him? That yellow shirt gets me every time. He knows that that's not my strong suit. You know, so my comfort zone, I have to step out of my comfort zone to give you something. Because the first thing I would say is to listen to a little Rickie Byars every day. You know, it's almost like the music gets into you. You know, the music is information. I think the reason why Bhakti is so high is because it's so light. It's so free. And sometimes, you know, when we hear wisdom, you know, we hear the word wisdom, sometimes wisdom feels like we have to work and really chop wood and carry water until we really get it. You know, we have to do service, we have to do the actions, you know, to get us there. But bhakti, devotion, is here now. It's here now. And so the music will get in your bones. So step number one, like I said at the first service, I love Michael Bernard Beckwith. You know what? He was my teacher. He's a great songwriting partner, really great. You know, when he was great at writing songs, when we were good together. When we were good together, we were great together. And we were great songwriting partners, and he was a great teacher. So he taught me a lot. I learned a lot from him. But he can formulate, he can give you a formula like, boom, Mary Morrissey. They do that. They can go like, the first thing you got to do every day, you got to do this. Second thing, you got to do that. But I'm inviting you now to just come with Rickie for a moment, you know, and listen to some music. Because the message is in the music. Just like it was in Miss Anita Stroud when she was saying, I got the joy, joy, joy. That I had to really get who I am. So the first thing is the anchor in who I am. If I had to do it, since they say I'm a genius, I should be able to do this. Okay. If all them ministers can do it, I can do it. First thing, realize you're a genius. Repeat after me, I am a genius. Oh, y'all didn't say that. Some of y'all feel so stupid that you don't want to say I'm a genius. You are a genius. Let me tell you why. Because God made you. Now, you might not have realized what your genius is per se, but you are a genius in this expression. And you better say it. I'm going to call you out. I am a genius. I am a genius. Yeah, I am a genius. Oh, no, you ain't have to say it again, you know. Okay. Second thing you got to do is not be afraid to express from your genius. Okay, not be afraid to express from your genius. And people go like, well, I don't know what it is I love to do. Yes, you do. Yeah, you do. You know what you love to do. You know what you love to do. I mean, just look at, what is it that brings you joy? What is it that brings you joy? I love to look at movies. How's that going to serve the world? Well, who knows? You might become a great commentary person. You know, you might, like what, Siskel and Ebert? Before then, wasn't nobody doing that. Didn't nobody care about your opinion. They made it popular. They love movies, right? They love movies, so they began to talk to each other about what it is, about what they love. So when you know what you love, then how does it serve? Not just how it make me rich. That can just make you lonely. You got money. That money doesn't give you happiness. Sharing gives you happiness. Because I've had money. Not long enough. No, but I make money, I'm a prosperous person. Abundance has nothing to do with money. Abundance is joy for me. Abundance is access. Abundance is circulation. Abundance is building a strong youth program, a youth and family program, caring about these children. Abundance is Betsy getting up here with too big a chef hat on her head, going like, you got to do this. Sign up for the thing because we can raise money for our community. And you said something. When you said what's going to happen next Sunday, what he said was, there's a meeting, a church meeting, right? He said it might not be that much fun. I'm thinking like, it should be. Why am I not going to be that much fun? You're talking about, you're going to be voting for people on your board? You get to vote? That's great. You get to vote? Some churches, you don't get to vote. I'm just saying. You get to see how the money is allocated and how you've succeeded at as a community and the vision of where you're going. You want to show up for that. Be a part of that and make it fun. I can show you some ways to do it. Yeah. They have a microphone. Man, I do a lot of things. They got a microphone that you can throw like a ball. Did you know that? That you can just throw it and whoever catches it has the microphone. Isn't that deep? So they throw it out and you go like, oh. Or if you want to say, I want to say something, then they throw it to you. And it's a lot of fun. It's like we want to be children together. We don't want to just be stodgy like this. I'm not even going to call it old because older should be more joyful. It should be more joyful. I'm just saying, come to that meeting and bring your best, be present, because it's a great thing when you have a community as beautiful as this with these ministers who want to do well. You support that and you show up for it. I don't know how I got to the church meeting, but, I'm all over the place here. And that's probably, now, if you're used to a certain order, I'm probably running you crazy right now. And you know what? I don't even care. Because I know that I love you. I know that even though I might not know people individually, like, it's like the love here is immense. And so I sing for you. I sing for the glory of God. I share my gifts with you. And when I go to sleep at night, I sleep well, because I put in a good day of service and work and love. It's not even work, it's just play. I play all the time, and when you're doing what you love to do, you're playing all the time. Even when I was a temporary secretary, I was playing. I was having a great time doing that. I'm glad I don't do that anymore. It wasn't sustainable. They use that word a lot. It wasn't sustainable. But when I was a temporary secretary, check this out, and I'm going to wrap it up. I got a little time. So when I was a temporary secretary, I was filing, I was in New York City at a law firm. And I was filing some stuff in there. This was before my chemise days. Chemise is a whole nother sermon. You should call me for chemise sermon. Before I became the queen of New Thought music, I'd had a little dance record in the 80s that has about 15 million views on YouTube. And it keeps building every year. So I have this alter person that I am. Just one song. Just one song, but before chemise, before any of that, I was filing these papers and I was just singing as I was singing some jazz song because I used to sing with the New York Jazz Quartet. I was a lead singer. But anyway, it wasn't paying that much, so I was doing a little temp job. But anyway, so I'm doing that. And this lady comes out And she looks like, she's a Middle Eastern woman. I don't know where she was from. I don't remember. I knew then, but I don't remember. And she was like, oh, your voice. Your voice. And she said, that's no ordinary voice. She told me this. She says, you're going to meet a man with a mustache and a beard. And you're going to write music together. And it's going to go all over the world and heal people's hearts. I was like, wow. She's telling me this. She said, oh, yeah, that's going to happen. And, because I believed everything in those days. I mean, I was about naive and gullible as they come when I was 25, 26, 27 years old. But it was great because I could believe. I was willing to believe. Right? So when a person came to town, they had a mustache and a beard. And, oh, yeah, she said he'd come from the West. And he was from L.A. I was like, here's my ticket to ride, And he loved me, and he wanted to have a family. And I was like, oh, wow, this is great. This is the guy. I know you. You're the guy. Well, he wasn't the guy. He wasn't the guy. But he was kind of the guy. Because the universe always works. It's working even when it looks like it's not working, right? So even if you're with somebody you think they're not it's still working for you because you're learning along the way. You're getting stronger for what you came to do, right? So there it was. There I was sleeping. But anyway, another song. But anyway, so this man I married. I knew him 3 months. But I'm glad I married him. That's my second husband. My first husband, I got married between classes. Okay. It was an interesting journey. So anyway, at the second husband would become the father of my children. And my children are great. You see what I'm saying? So it worked out. And he taught me how to groove. Because he said I played like Carole King. He said, you play like, you're doing this thing. And he was like, try this. Ain't nothing wrong with Carole King. But Carole King is Carole King. You know what I mean? I don't need to be Oprah. She already Oprah. Okay, so I found my groove. And by the time I got to Agape, I became the groove maker. I was part of the groove makers. Some of the greatest grooves at Agape. So this guy that I was going to meet eventually would be Michael Bernard Beckwith, who had a beard and he had a mustache. And we did the music. Isn't that interesting? It's really phenomenal. So that when I'm talking about this song and bhakti and doing what we came to do, it really, really is divine. So this morning when I'm singing Spirit's Calling You, and I'm singing, when your time has come to move to that place so high, and you're feeling for the ones you'll lead to cry, saying, look, 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 what I leave behind. That's agape. Where is my peace of mind? The Spirit says, I am more than this. I am more than this. I am more than this. Come to me. So that's how I start my day. I start returning to God. And the music takes me there. Thank God. And my mom is so proud of me. She's so proud. My mom passed away about 3 weeks ago, January 23rd. She ascended, though. I mean, she like, that girl. You know what I'm saying? She was awesome. And when she went, she didn't look back. And this is what I said in the first service. I said, when the spirit left her body, and I saw her body lying in the bed, she was in hospice at home, and her face was like this. She looked like she was 16 years old. She had no wrinkles, nothing. No pain from all these years, no attachments, no 10 children, raising 10 kids, bearing 7. No arthritis in her body for like 77 years. She didn't have any of that. You know what she had was God. And she didn't, like I said the first service, she didn't care about me. She didn't care about me. My mom was in a whole nother dimension. You know, she was in God. You know, she was in that vast space of fizz, joy, whatever it is, but she was with God. And I could easily let her go. Because how would you want to hold somebody here when they're already there? Like that. You know, how old she got to be? She lived to be 94. You know, but we want what we want, right? We have our attachments, but she let it go. I mean, she let it go. And the way it was a rocky road. When I was like, you know, it's a rocky road. We're learning every step of the way. And I couldn't believe that at the very last moments of her life, her body still was wanting to be here for the party. Because my mom loved to live. She loved to be here for the party. She was singing on January 5th with me at Hot and Cool. She was singing there. Mama, glory, glory, hallelujah. Since I laid my burden down. And she wasn't moving on the stage. She was in a wheelchair, leaned to the side. You know what I'm saying? Singing that song. You know, that her life had distilled into a song. You know? It's amazing. And I mean, it's like, and she was a brilliant woman. My mom was so brilliant. My mother was a genius. She really was. Just like you're really a genius too, but my mom was a bad girl. She had photographic memory. She'd write theses and dissertations for people to feed us. She had a crippled hand from arthritis. She could type 150 words a minute on that old Royal typewriter. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I would come down the steps and Mom would be working. I was like, oh, wow, what's she doing? Little girl was watching my mother up, feeding us, reading stacks of books. Just read. My mom could read until like that until last year, and she could still read, but she didn't remember the books after 2 months. But she read Old Path, White Clouds, Thich Nhat Hanh. You know that book about that thick. She ate that book up in 3 days. She said, oh yeah, especially chapter 6 where he did so and so and so and so. I said, wow, she's really deep. I don't have that. You know, for a long time I thought I wasn't smart because I wasn't smart. My mom was so big in my mind. You know, I mean, she was so big. But eventually, even that begins to simplify. You know what I mean? It begins to simplify. It simplifies. It simplifies. And it's like all those are the journeys that we get to do. We get to do bakers. We get to be inventors. We get to be real estate people. We get to be, what is it that you do? Just tell me what you do. Trainers, what do you do? What? Nobody do nothing in here? You know, oh, right. Yeah, yes. Yeah, we do all these things, but eventually it fades into God. All fades into God. You know, and so she, you know, and it was just like that rattle, that sound, and she's breathing. I was like, she ain't going nowhere. I thought my mother was going to be like that for 2 weeks, you know. And when I left, she left. When I left for the airport, she left. And I came back, and I was with, and then, you know, I've been in LA. Well, the next day I went to Phoenix, and then it was incredible. I came back, and it's just been amazing, this time of her ascension. So thank you so much, those of you who knew, who held me in prayer. Those of you who don't know me and didn't know, hey, thank you for right now, for just catching what you can of what true surrender is. When we let go, when we let those we love go, when it's time to go, when it's time to move on to a next expression, to do it fearlessly, to be thankful for what it is we learned, and to be able to move on. And when we're in a situation that's really yummy good, to bring our best to it. To bring our best. And that's why I could say I completed at Agape, because I brought my best there. And my last words to Agape was like, you were good for my life, but I was good for yours too. You know, it was reciprocal. And I'm very, very thankful. And I'm thankful finally because it gives me a chance to be here. I get to go everywhere now and meet the people who love the music. That's very special. Thank you for listening, and thank you for being present today.